this is what I've been waiting for. Hopefully this is what you've been waiting for too. Milwaukee's come out with their 20-inch fuel chainsaw, and I'm going to see how this thing stacks up against the Greenworks Commercial 20-inch, the Ego Commercial 20-inch. So the way I'm going to run this is I'm going to do a couple of different things. I'm going to do speed and I'm going to do endurance. So what I'm going to do to start out with is use the batteries that it came with. So the fuel came with the 8 amp hour batteries. The Ego came with an 8 amp hour battery. The Greenworks actually comes with a 4 amp, and it's an abysmal battery. So I'm going to use a 5 amp. So that would bring the cost of Greenworks up around $900. But that's kind of the cost of the Milwaukee. But just so that everyone knows, because this saw is not that great with the battery it comes with. So that's what we'll start out with. And then we'll move to the most powerful battery that each company offers in the saw. So the Greenworks will get the 8 amp hour battery. The Ego will get the 12 amp hour batteries. And the Milwaukee will get the 12 amp hour forge batteries. And that's what we'll run them. So we'll do speed first with the batteries they came with, and then speed with the big batteries. Then we'll do endurance. Depending on how much log we have, it might just be endurance with the big batteries, but hopefully we can do endurance with each set of batteries, and we'll have something to compare all these things to. But looking forward to seeing how these things stack up. Now, to keep it even, I didn't realize this before, but the Milwaukee actually comes with a semi-chisel chain. So to keep it even, all of these saws got a Frostbite 325, 0.050, 78 drive link, full chisel chain. So they all have the same chain on them. The only difference will be the saws themselves and then the batteries that we use in the saws. So let's see how these things cut. I can't wait. All right, our test log is a nice solid 17-inch, 18-inch piece of oak. We'll start with the Greenworks, then the Ego, and then the Milwaukee. So this is a Greenworks 5 amp hour battery. So my cutting experience here is pretty consistent with what I've experienced with the Greenworks in the past, and it just really struggles to make enough power using a 5 amp hour battery, even though that's bigger than the one that it comes with. It's a sizing thing. I don't know if they did it to save on weight or what, but you know, it really struggles in the larger stuff, unless it has that larger 8 amp hour battery. The big difference we'll see with the Greenworks probably later on in the testing is the higher voltage really comes into play when you look at working the saw hard, because it's using less current and it's heating up a lot less than the other two saws are going to be when we go for the endurance test. So we'll see how that turns out. But for the speed test, not so good. Next up is the Ego with the 8 amp hour battery. Ego really upped their game when they brought these 20-inch saws. This one, the commercial version, has more power than any other saw on the market, or at least listed power. I don't know what the rating is for the Milwaukee because it's not listed, but of all the saws, this one comes in at 3,500 watts, which is the highest, and it shows. This thing pulls pretty hard, and it's fun to use. The batteries don't seem to make as much of a difference in the performance with the Ego in terms of size, but what I have noticed is that this thing is definitely asking a lot for what the batteries put out. And last, we got the new Milwaukee with the 8 amp hour forge batteries. Well, let's take a break and put that chain on right. All right, Milwaukee 8 amp hour batteries, take 2. And by the way, these are all on their highest settings. I really noticed the torque on this Milwaukee. I can lean into the cut more than with either of the other two saws, and it's definitely fun to use. I don't know what the overall power is, but it definitely, has a lot of torque, which is nice. I used these 8 amp hour batteries before, but they're pulling a lot harder now than the first time I used them. I guess with these lithiums, you got to condition them, so you got to use them a couple times before they're outputting their full power, but they're pulling hard now. All right. I would say the speeds went in the order of the saws that we used. Now we're going to switch up to the big batteries for all these saws, and we'll do it again. Okay, starting off with the Greenworks and the 8 amp hour battery. What a difference with the Greenworks. It's like using a new saw. It's completely different characteristics with this high amperage battery in it. Now the Ego with the 12. I did not notice a big difference in performance with the Ego with 12 amp hour, just a little bit heavier, but in terms of cutting strength, it didn't seem to make much of a difference. And now, the Milwaukee with the 12 amp hour forged batteries. Now, the results with the Milwaukee were pretty surprising because it didn't really seem to care now that it has a 12 amp hour batteries. And the last time I used it, they made a huge difference. So I'm thinking it was just that the 8 amp hour batteries maybe weren't conditioned. And I did notice Machinery Nation did a competition between the CSX5000 and this, and the CSX5000 did better. But I'm thinking the Milwaukee comes with a semi-chisel, and now that they both have full chisel chains, I think the Milwaukee has the advantage again, because it definitely feels like it pulls harder, like it has more torque. Okay. I got unexpected results with the Milwaukee, so I'm just going to give it another quick shot. I got the 12 amp forge on there right now. Now I'm back to the 8 amp hour forge. All right, well, that was fun. I did get some unexpected results between the 8 and the 12 amp hour batteries, especially based on my last test, but the last time was the first time I had used the batteries, so I guess they really do condition and run better. Second test, I got a little bit more of the expected result, so all I can think is maybe I tried to clean that log off, maybe I hit a little bit of spot of dirt and dulled the chain a little bit on the second cut. But overall, the results were The Milwaukee was the fastest cutter. The Greenworks and the Ego were pretty close behind it, but when you're using it, when I'm using it, this is a slower chain speed, but I can absolutely feel that there's more torque. Is there 9.8? Does it have more torque than a MS881? I'm going to say probably not, but it has a lot of torque, and it has more torque than either of these saws. You can feel that. Which you got to work to make that thing cut out. So it kind of deserves having the double dogs on it. I'm going to do another test. I'm going to release this so people can look at it. I'm going to get new chains before I go for the endurance test on this and prep it. So I'll set this out. People can look at it. Hopefully you can get something out of it. But yeah, it was for the speed. The Milwaukee was the winner, followed by Greenworks and Ego pretty close to each other. Hope this is useful for you. Thanks for watching.